I'm Father Robert Ballister, the digital Jesuit host of This Week in Enterprise Tech. I'm here at Enterprise Connect 2017 in Orlando, Florida, and it's time for some emergencies. Specifically, I'm sitting next to Mr. Dan Smith. He is the National Sales Manager at Valcom. Thank you very much for joining us.
Well, thank you very much for having us.
Now, when I think of Valcom, I think of emergency systems. You're this company that puts out PA systems and IP notification systems, the lights, the sirens that get the attention of a lot of people. So I got to ask, what are you doing at Enterprise Connect?
Well, you know, it's amazing how important it is for us to be able to take unified communications to people in any place that they are. So no matter where a person is, we need to be able to get information to them. And we tend to be very good at doing that to, the person's desktop and to their smartphone, and to get information to a person on a personal device. But what happens if the people don't have a personal device, or if they're not connected, they're not tied into the system that we have? So transient people, for example. People in Enterprise Connect is the perfect example. If Enterprise Connect, if we had an emergency in this facility right now, how would they get in touch with us? We're not all on their smartphone app. They don't have all of our contact information. So how would they let us know that there's a problem at this facility? What they would do is they would broadcast audio or broadcast signage into this area that we can all get simultaneously, and really give us information to be able to protect ourselves and save ourselves in that life safety environment. And that's really what Valcom's all about.
That's a very important point, because I think many of us, when we think of mass notifications these days, you're right, we think mobile, we think desktop, we think clients, we think apps, because that's typically how we interact with the world. But if you're in an emergency situation, say an active shooter situation, you need to be able to tell everyone on the premise whether or not they have a device, and whether or not they have a device that's linked to your IP notification system, that there's actually actions they need to take right now.
That's a perfect example. And it's a shame kind of in the world that we live in nowadays that we have to deal with these things, right? I have 4 children. 2 of my children are still in high school. Last year, my children's school had 2 incidents. There was a bomb threat, turned out to be nothing, and there was a lockdown of the school because there was a robbery at a bank in the nearby area. In both of those situations, my school district has a lot of alert notification capabilities. They send me information to my cell phone, to my email all the time about school closings, about all of these different things. In this situation, I got the notification, immediately called my child. They were already home because the delay it took to get those emergency messages out. When I got home and actually talked to them, I said, what did they do in the school? How did they actually handle the situation? They got on the public address system and they said, hey, here's what's going on. We're in lockdown. Lock your room, shelter on the inside wall, and we'll let you know when there's an all clear. That's the way it really happens, and that's what we do.
And I think anybody who has ever had a delayed communication, a text or an email that for some reason hung up, you don't know what it is, but it just didn't get there on time, understands why that's important. Yes, it's nice to be able to send out to 1 million devices at once, but if those 1 million devices aren't with the people that you need to notify, then it's useless, it's worthless.
Absolutely. And another thing is, what do you do when that information changes, right? So I've got this time frame that it takes to deliver this information. Now the information changes. I've got to be able to change the information as the situation unfolds and give the most current information to the people as possible. And honestly, as technology has evolved, it's amazing that the very simple things of overhead audio and visual displays still tend to be the real only way to be able to do that in a very efficient and timely manner.
All right, so I have to ask how this actually works. Does this run in parallel or in sequence with the standard notification technology? So people are going to get phone calls, they're going to get IP messages, they're going to get app messages. Does that run alongside Valcom's solution, or is that something that you tack on after everything else?
Well, that's kind of a yes and yes answer, because while Valcom we have our own mass notification solution, which is a server platform that allows you to do everything that you just said. But we also integrate with other manufacturers. So the other manufacturers, such as Cisco's Informacast platform, we have Informacast products that integrate in with that. So everything in our product line is available in an Informacast version. We also do that for the other manufacturers that are out there of mass notification software platforms. So we tend to be the hardware back end of any mass notification platform that you run into.
But they could choose to go all Valcom if they really wanted that.
We do have our own mass notification system called eLaunch, and it is extremely capable and does all of the features that customers want.
All right, now I always get to the point where I have to ask, where do you see this technology going? Where do you see this advancing in the coming year? I think it's a little different from Valcom though, because the technology that you're using, the one that is the most effective, which is audio and visual paging, announcing, is technology we think we've moved past, because again, of the fact that we've got all our mobile devices. Is Valcom going to be that stalwart of saying, no, you need a paging system? I know it's not sexy, it's not next generation appish, but it is the most effective way to contact many people at once. Is that Valcom's steed in UC?
Well, in reality, we migrated to voice over IP SIP endpoints in the year 2000. So even before most of the telephone manufacturers converted to SIP, we already were SIP capable. So, you know, when this convergence happens and we're moving to IP telephone systems or to hosted solutions, Valcom equipment is already ready. So you can register any of our equipment, any of our devices as a third-party SIP endpoint to any telephone system as just a generic third-party SIP endpoint. So it's very, very easy to converge, but moving to that technology, no matter if you're on an IP phone system or if you're on a hosted telephone system, now I can use that same infrastructure. So while you know, you kind of think of the overhead paging as an old or outdated system, it's really that, you know, we moved ahead so far in that technology years ago that we're already ahead of the curve of most of our competitors, well ahead.
Dan, thank you very much for speaking with us. Thank you for sharing information about what is actually an incredibly important topic. I mean, yes, we do like our converged systems, but at some point we just need to be able to get the word out, and I think that's exactly what Valcom does.
Well, thank you very much for having us. And if you need any additional information about Valcom or the products that we provide, you can contact us at 1-800-VALCOM-1 or look us up on our website at www.valcom.com.
Dan, thanks again, and thank you for watching. Come back again because we still got more from Enterprise Connect 2017.